What really gets my dick hard is...
So fucking what?
Hi, this is Wayne Summers. I'm the guy who returned the Master of Puppets backdrop to Metallica, and you're listening to Metal Up Your Podcast.
Welcome to Metal Up Your Podcast. I'm Ethan Luck.
And I'm Clint Wells.
This is episode number 68, and we're finally tackling what we've talked about for a long time, live shit, binge, and purge. This is part one, the Seattle show.
We're going to do it, we're doing it in reverse order. We're actually doing it chronologically. The 89 Seattle show we're starting with, then we're going to do San Diego, then Mexico City, but it's
and then
been
Topeka, Kansas. That's the disc of B-sides that
right.
they never
Topeka.
released. Yeah,
that's good.
It's the first small city I could think of.
I know a lot of our listeners are really excited about everyone loves Binge and Purge.
Oh,
I don't know, we can argue about the Black Album or argue about Load and Reload, Saint Anger, etc. I guess some people even want to argue about Fade to Black being
sure.
slow or whatever. Who does not like fucking Binge and Purge?
Yeah, I think if you don't like it, you're probably not even listening to this podcast anyways.
Yeah, you're listening to Yanni or something.
You're listening to Only Kill 'Em All. I'm like, dude, they sold out after that.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't have a computer.
Yeah, you don't
phone.
have a computer, yeah. You have a Rolodex for all your friends' phone numbers. You might have a pager.
Yeah.
Definitely a typewriter to send letters to your friends and family.
You hear a few other accoutrements you have. A bullet belt.
Oh, yeah.
A studded Kerry King porcupine wrist cuff.
Yeah.
Have you seen that thing Kerry King wears?
It's like a forearm cuff.
It's like he's wearing a fucking porcupine on his arm. What's he doing?
It might be actual porcupine spikes.
Here's another question about Kerry King. That he wears chains. His guitar strap is a chain.
Right.
Now, do you think that's an affect? Do you think those are real heavy chains?
I doubt that the ones that are like on his belt, I doubt those are real. Maybe they are. If they are, he's got to have a really tight belt to hold his pants up.
Someone asked recently, they were like, what's like, why did Metallica break through and Slayer didn't? For example. I'm like, well,
porcupine bracelets?
Maybe it's because he's still wearing maybe because he gained 100 pounds and lost his hair and he still dresses like LA 1982 thrash metal scene.
I mean, it's, Zakk Wylde has chains, but somehow, for some reason on him, it fits. Well, his chains are a little smaller, maybe. They're a little less threatening.
He's also
or something.
Taller and stockier and didn't.
And a better guitar player.
And not a butthole.
And a really good guitar player.
Anyway, back to our podcast. If you're joining us for the first time, amazingly, despite the last several minutes, we are an all Metallica podcast.
Not a Slayer podcast.
Ethan and I are professional musicians based in Nashville, Tennessee. We get together every week, talk about our favorite band, Metallica, of course. We're delighted you're here if you're here for the first time. If you're a true, as they say, if you're an original gangster Metal Up Your Podcast fan, it's good to have you back. Happy Monday, happy Easter, blah, 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 blah,
blah,
blah,
blah.
Let's get through some housekeeping stuff before we dive into Binge and Purge. We do this iTunes contest where we give out gifts every month. You go leave us a positive review. Your name goes into a queue. We draw usually 5 names with gifts. We're doing 10 names this month, and we're giving away our EP, Cover Our Will Blacken.
That's right.
Which you can only get through the Patreon and this contest.
Yeah, it's very exclusive. VIP, if you will.
Here are, I'll do the first 5 and you do the next 5.
Sounds good.
That? We got Jason Berry, who's a friend of the show. What's up, Jason?
Hey.
Left his review in May of 2017, U.S. Eric F86 left his review in October of 2017.
He left his review on my birthday.
Oh, is that your birthday?
Yeah, happy birthday to
nice. Me. Wolfpack Chris, who left his review this year, March of this... Wait, he just left the review.
Oh, like a few days ago.
Wow. So, see, that's how it works, folks. This is definitely random. A man whose username is Cliff Burton. He left his review in November of last year. And then we've got Bjorn1122 from Sweden, who left their review also in November of last year.
And then we've got a Junebug Fugit. October of 2017. Donnie Schur, February of this year. See, another recent one. Mm-hmm. J. Riley 2K6, February of also this year. I skipped on accident. SRA 70, October of last year. And Pastega,
Nice.
Also October of last year.
Let's give
Thank
it
you.
up.
Yeah, give it up.
Let's give it
Jeez,
up.
good job,
Hold on, let me
everybody.
put this- Guys, you did a good job.
Good
It's-
job for leaving a review.
So here's how you claim the prize. Go send us an email. Our email address is metalupyourpodcastshow@gmail.com. We will send you links to not only our coveted Cover Our World Blackened EP, but also the 2 existing Lunar Satan tracks. Ethan and I are collaborating on the 3rd track as we conduct this podcast.
That's right.
Ethan's written some music. I think that one's gonna be 666 in reverse.
So that almost that would be close to 222 if you completed the 6. I'm literally speaking of turning the 666 around.
Right. I'm thinking more like 666 in reverse is 666.
Right. Yeah. It's a palindrome.
It's a palindrome.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
There's your English lesson for the day, folks.
Like the word Bob.
Like the word Bob or Wairika Bakery.
Is that real?
Yeah. Well, there's
Do you know like a bunch of palindromes?
That was only because
happening?
there was some old band on my old label that was what were they called? Now I'm blanking.
The palindromes.
But yeah, the palindromes. No, but they had a record called Wairika Bakery, and there's a city in California called Wairika, and that's basically it's a palindrome.
Okay.
Anyways,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, thus endeth the palindrome segment.
Let's go ahead and call that an April Fool's joke.
So thanks for those of you who left all the reviews. Go claim the records by leaving by sending us an email. Here's the deal: for the month of March, we're doing a patron only, and we're going back to the physical prizes.
Yes.
A lot of people have been sending us shit to donate for the prizes.
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff.
Our friend Benjamin this week sent us one of the All of Them My Hand shirt, Crash Course in Brain Surgery shirt, back to the front. Many people who already own Hardwired, who are getting, because when you buy a ticket to a Metallica show, you get the CD Hardwired.
Right, yeah.
They're sending us those CDs for giveaway. So it's been an exciting week.
Yeah, if for some reason you don't own Hardwired, which, God, why would you not? We'll have some to give away.
Yeah. So it's cool.
That's some new patrons this week.
New patrons.
Yeah.
You're going to hear about Patreon a little later, but we wanted to say hi and thank you to these people.
Yeah, we've got Dan Cantor, Todd Burrow, and excuse me, and Tony Ownsworth.
Oh, Ownsworth? And I think all 3 of these cats sent us emails. So we'll hear from them. Needless to say, thank you guys so much.
Thank you
for getting on the ride at that level. We're on the Twitter and the Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. We did a really fun thing this week on Instagram. We actually gave out the Kill 'Em All vinyl this week.
Yeah.
Where we eclipsed. Congratulations, Ethan. We eclipsed 200,000 downloads.
Congratulations, Clint. Yay us.
Yay us.
Yeah,
yay
200,000
Metallica.
downloads. Yeah, we're entering.
Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad.
Yeah, we're kind of in our Ride the Lightning era right now.
It seems to be
doing
that.
better. Yeah,
Seems to be that.
We haven't sold out just yet.
Music for the Nations is putting out our single in Europe.
Yep, it's going to be great.
We're going to go over there and.
Fleming Rasmussen's doing the next Cover All World Blackened EP.
But we did do to sort of celebrate that. We put like a picture up of the whatever James Hetfield and over 200,000 downloads, and we did a tag 3 friends, and we'll draw your name randomly and give out this vinyl, and we did, and I think some chick in London won it. So
great.
So come follow us and all that stuff. Get involved.
Brilliant.
We read a handful of emails every week because we like to, and it's our goddamn show. Having said that, let's get into the emails.
All right, our first email from Mark Ferguson. Sup.
Sup.
That's what he starts it off with. Sup, dog. It feels like you guys have reached Black Album popularity status lately. Great for the pod. As a listener who found you back in October, I'd like to think I'm more OG than most. I guess chronologically speaking, you're not yet. You're not really OG yet. That would have been 10 months in. So talk to us next October. Just kidding. We love you, Mark. Blah, blah, blah. It was post Outlaw Torn controversy, but pre Hello Dave. So I think that's the equivalent for your Ride the Lightning / Master of Puppets era. Hey, wow,
funny.
I just mentioned that.
That's funny.
Anyways, a quick question: why does Lars always hashtag wanna? What does it mean?
I very briefly investigated this.
Yeah.
Did you?
I looked it up and I kept going back to posts, and he does throw that hashtag out a lot. I don't know. Does it mean I wanna I'm
Well, here's the extent of my investigation.
Okay.
I clicked on the hashtag itself to see what other people are, and it makes no sense. It seems to be there does not seem to be a unifying thread.
Maybe.
And I'm old and I don't give a fuck.
Me too.
So I navigated away immediately.
Maybe Lars is older and maybe gives less fucks and just thought it'd be funny to put out a random word.
Maybe it's funny. Maybe his kids got him doing it.
They're like, Dad, you're not really doing
Because he
hashtags
just joined
right.
Instagram like 6 months ago.
Right. Well, and maybe his kids were trying to talk him into it, and he got on it, and then they're like, Dad, this is what a hashtag is. And Lars was like, well, what do I do? You just do like, remember the pound sign on phone? You just do that and then put a word. And he just chose the word wanna. And his kids are probably rolling their eyes like, Dad, you're doing it wrong.
Dude, people are putting hashtags in texts now.
It can be funny sometimes.
It's funny if you're making fun of it.
Right, exactly.
Well, I mean, obviously. If the object of the joke is hashtag culture is fucking ludicrous.
Exactly.
Hashtag ludicrous.
Hashtag no duh.
You know what else is fucking driving me crazy on text now? Is the ability to like a text.
Oh, yeah, where it's like, or laugh at a text.
I tell everyone, I'm like, stop it.
Stop. I think I've done that like twice.
I don't care if you like the text.
Yeah.
This isn't Facebook.
Right.
Hey, I'm running 5 minutes late for the lunch meeting. Just letting you know I'll be there in 5 minutes. Like. What?
Well, the most likes I've gotten on a text is 1.
Well, I'm on these group texts with my bands and shit.
Right.
Where it's like, I'll say something funny. Duh.
And then they haha.
And then it's just like a million notifications where it's like, oh, they liked it. And I called them out. I was like, hey, guys, what's going on?
Yeah,
They're like, oh, we just wanted you to know that we saw it. I don't give a fuck. I assume you saw it.
If you have a phone, which you do, you probably saw the text.
Okay, and what's the end of that? I want you to know that I saw that you saw it. All right.
Okay.
I want you to know that I know that you saw.
You know what I turned off on my phone is when
everything.
Everything.
The whole phone?
Yeah,
Please,
I threw it in the
God,
garbage
please,
disposal.
Jesus.
No, the option that you've read that person's text.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
You can turn it off, so that way.
So that's on. That's always on automatically.
Yours might be. Mine was.
Jesus.
I turned it off so that let's say someone texts you and you're just not in the mood. You're like, you know what? I'm
all the time.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of something. Blah blah blah. You can still look at it and it won't let them know that you read it. But sometimes it's frustrating because God, this is tangent world today. Sometimes it's frustrating because I'll text someone something mildly important, like I need them to respond, and like, hey, what time is this happening? Blah blah blah, and then it'll say read. And then they won't respond. I'm like, motherfucker, I saw that you read it.
Wow.
It's like I watched you open up the book.
I'm sitting here in horror that is a thing.
I'll show you how to turn it off after we're done here.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, thanks, Mark. We don't know what that means.
All that to say, just insert shoulder shrugging emoji here.
Rob Cook, who is a patron of the show, says, Clint, Ethan, Torben, Dave, Pawpaw, Hulk, etc. Just a quick email to say, hey, brother, you do it.
That's brother.
Oh, hey, brother.
If he said brother, I would do it.
That's not Hulk Hogan. That's Arsenio Hall.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Hey,
Arsenio.
brother. What a smash hit podcast. He says, I've been binging from episode 1 on my commute into London, New Jersey. I'm at episode 44 as I write this, so apologies if some of my comments are now out of date. All right. Metallica has been in and out of my musical fandom since the mid-'80s when I was skateboarding, as all the thrash bands were fair game back then. During the Load era, I didn't follow their output as much, but their return to the golden days with Death Magnetic and now Hardwired almost makes me think of myself as a born-again Metallica fan.
That's a good way to look at it.
That's funny. He says, since listening to your show, my appreciation of the band has grown exponentially to the extent that the Load era now contains some of my favorite tracks,
Cool.
and I'm getting so much more out of the band. He says, although Saint Anger is still shit, though.
Agreed, but this is a common thing that's happened.
I
over
love
the
it. I
course of the
love
year.
it.
The fact that we've been able to encourage people to dig into those records that makes me happy. This did it for me too.
I think, I think what we've seen rarely is that people are like, look, dude, I went back into it because you guys are so excited, and it just sucks.
Yeah.
I think what's more common is people are giving it a shot and like, God damn.
Well, like me, I mean, I'm sure a lot of these people wrote those records off and didn't listen to them for 10 to 15 years. You know, there was a point where I didn't listen to a Load or Reload song other than, the singles for, I would say, almost 10 years. And then I got back into them. I was like, wait a second, there's some really good stuff on here.
I think for me, the big revelation from doing the podcast has been an intense connection to Death Magnetic. That I didn't really have before. Back to Rob's email. He says, ultimately, your show's gotten me fully back into the fold, along with seeing them on the rail at the O2 in London last year. Being able to get my mates onto your podcast because your show is such an accessible introduction to all things Metallica gives me a kick. As an idea for a future cast, maybe we could get an episode on the other bands Metallica members have been a part of. I know we've mentioned them in the past when running down the lads' histories, and it's a pretty short list as I guess we're only talking about Suicidal Tendencies, Megadeth, and Exodus, but it's still Metallica. Hey, we could even do another episode on my main man, Rob Trujillo, and my other favorite band, Suicidal Tendencies. Anyhow, top work, fellas. You're by far my favorite podcast. Peace, Rob. Thanks, dude.
That's cool. I don't often meet a lot of Suicidal Tendencies fans these days, but
we could do a whole another episode on Rob. I mean,
sure.
I think that's what we landed on with James, and we did another one with Kirk. I mean, I think we're going to do a part 2 on Lars.
Yeah, I think it will for sure.
And Rob, and even Jason. The other bands that we could do if we were doing another band, like Spastic Children, that weird band that James is in.
Trauma.
Panic.
Yeah.
I mean, we could,
At the disco.
yeah. All right, Rob. Thank you.
Next email is from Felipe de Lena. Hey guys, I don't know if any of you guys have read Pantera's bassist Rex Brown's biography. He mentions in an episode about Lars and James making fun of the fact that they didn't put bass on the album. I'm sending you guys the screenshots in the section of the book.
So it starts with on another one of these nights.
On another one of these nights, we were sitting outside some club and they were playing us their new record. There's no bass on it, and they're laughing their asses off, saying, "We got this new guy Jason, and we're fucking with him. We're just not going to put his bass in the mix." They were fucking howling about it, and I guess they saw it as another way of harassing him. I'm saying, so where's the bass? And they just said, haha, it's not on it. There's been a lot of debate and speculation about that issue over the years as to whether it was intentional attempt or to humiliate Jason, and we heard it straight from their mouths.
So that's crazy. By the way, I ordered this book yesterday because of this email.
You did? Nice.
I've been wanting to read this book forever. And so Rex is saying he's actually heard it from Lars and James that the
while
bass,
they were listening to Justice
that
for
there's
All.
no bass specifically to fuck with Jason, which I have.
I feel like they back then, maybe with Rex and those
they were
dudes,
joking with Rex,
joking with them, because it's like, okay, are we going to take a joke that far to put out an album?
No. I think it was reverse engineering. I think that they wanted to. I think they did intentionally take bass out.
Yeah,
but I don't think it had anything to do with Jason. I think they were like, "This is the sound of this record."
Yeah,
and they just sort of morphed that into hazing. Like they made that became a talking point of it.
It makes the whole history of the hazing.
It's funny.
It makes it a better story,
because we all know that the Garage Days Revisited came out before. The bass is slamming on that.
Yeah,
they're not fucking with They're not fucking with their art to fuck with Jason.
Right.
But that is really fascinating.
Very fascinating.
Thanks, dude, for sending that in. Danny Taylor writes, "Hello, dudes. Episode 67 with Jim Florentine was a good one. How cool to hear about 16-year-old Jim not knowing what to do, so he took the boys to the mall. Such a good story." And then he writes, Did he?
Did he?
Did you?
Did you?
He says, "I play bass guitar and sing, so I mostly listen to music as a player and not as someone who enjoys it purely as just a listener."
Are you?
Do you? It says, "This usually lends to me being a bit more picky and opinionated about what I hear. I know there's more to it than that, but listening to Jim talk about why he backs Saint Anger gave me a thought experiment when I was on hour 6 of an 8-hour drive that day as I was listening to the episode." He says, "Do you think the reason for the older fans, the trues, the Black Album haters, whatever you want to call them, to consider the Black Album a quote-unquote departure from thrash is purely on a production standpoint? During that moment, the boys quote-unquote sold out to get a sound for the masses." Well, other than Holier Than Thou and Struggle Within, it's not a thrash record.
Right, yeah.
So I think production also, but they were writing different songs.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. No, I think just the content on the record is what most people were. A combination of that and it becoming so successful, it immediately made the Trues turn their backs or whatever.
Yeah, because in terms of production, the sleekness of it, I think Black Album has more in common with Master of Puppets than it does Justice.
Yeah.
Justice is very cold and surgical.
Yeah.
There's a lot of breathing room. There's a lot of like air and beef, and I don't know how to describe it really, actually, but
not space.
Yeah, it's sonically way more interesting. It's way better.
Yeah.
People who are like, I want it to sound shitty like Whiplash again. Well, fuck off. I don't.
I don't either. Okay,
he says, listening to Florentine talk about, he just kind of basically goes on. He's basically saying, he says, like, when you guys are at a show and the set goes from Black Album to Lightning to Hardwired to Garage, do you hear the album production value changes? Not live, because they're playing
the same gear.
Playing the same gear. And I kind of see what he's saying, though.
Yeah.
He says, I like how you guys were able to hang and be funny with the comedian, and it didn't sound all fanboy and overreaching. It wasn't you guys stepping into his world, but him being brought into yours. You act like that on the regular with everyone, and that's part of what keeps us engaged. You guys rock these interviews. Can't wait for the next one, whoever it is. Danny Taylor. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you. All right, next email is from Brian Ward. Hey, guys, Brian from Portland. I just finished the Saint Anger episode. While it is by far the lowest ranking of them, there is one song that spoke to me immediately. The Unnamed Feeling helped me through a few bouts of depression. I was happy to hear your perspectives on it and agree with Clint's 7 out of 10 rating. What I didn't expect was the cover at the end. Not only was it an amazing cover version, this is yours, I'm assuming he's talking about.
Yeah, The Unnamed Feeling, yeah.
Not only was it an amazing cover version, reimagining, if you will, but it was perfectly timed for my life. The unnamed feeling comes alive. The cover was exactly what I needed to begin my processing. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. Much love, Brian Ward.
Awesome.
Well, cool, man. That's something we've often talked about, and just not only on the show but in our personal lives. That the healing power of music, is a true thing and a real thing. And whether it be a thrash metal song, a cover version of a Metallica song, a reggae song, whatever, there is healing power in music, and I think everyone can agree with that. That's often the first thing a lot of us turn to when we're feeling down or depressed or anxious or whatever.
Yeah, man. And thanks for sharing that with us, and hang in there. It gets better. I'm going to read the next email from Albert Cobble.
Right.
He says, "What's up, brothers? Another Arsenio Hall. Or maybe it's Martin Lawrence. It doesn't have to be Arsenio.
Yeah.
Brothers.
He
What's
up, brother?
It is Hulk.
Wow, Hulk. I thought you were still sleeping.
Yeah, he's up. He's a little sleepy.
I thought he was out collecting Easter eggs right now.
Oh, he loves Easter egg hunts.
He loves Easter egg
He's
hunts.
risen, brother.
Yeah. And then when Jesus was in the cave, he said, let me sorry, let me do this. He said, let me tell you something, world. I'm going to take my 24-inch pythons. I'm going to take my 24-inch pythons and move this boulder out because I am risen, brothers.
It's the resurrection, brothers.
Now go get your eggs.
Oh, my God.
Go collect your Easter eggs because they're high in protein.
Oh, my God. I'm crying.
Me too. I haven't done that in a while.
The Hulk Hogan Jesus crossover. That is amazing.
Wow.
Okay.
Man, that could be a new segment of Sermons by Hulk Hogan.
Oh, my God. He is risen, brother. Okay. Albert Cobble says, there's so much to say about how much Metallica means to me and how much I love this podcast. I discovered Metal Up Your Podcast searching for a Rob Trujillo interview and stumbled onto your show, your amazing show. That's nice. Nice words here at the top.
Yeah, we love it.
He says, my best friend and I bonded over music. We played in bands together for years, and music was our lives. We constantly argued about what bands sucked and who didn't, but the band we could always agree on was Metallica. We had different favorite albums and songs and solos, but we loved it all. After high school, my buddy left for the war and was out of my life for 4 years. When he got home, we immediately reconnected and started jamming together again. Still always stoked on Metallica no matter how much we had changed over the time apart. When Through the Never came out, we had our own little screening party at his place, and it was awesome. He had PTSD really badly and had a panic attack at the intro to One. Holy shit.
Wow.
But we were able to calm him down by talking about what bands we had seen live and who we still needed to see. His only band that he hadn't seen live that was a must-see was Metallica. Sadly, he was killed in a motorcycle accident only a few months later. Metallica was our major bonding point. My love for them has only grown for being tied so closely to his memory. Metallica's finally coming to Indiana, New Jersey next March. It may seem pretty macabre, but I fully intend to take some of his ashes with me to that show.
Oh, wow.
Dude, I think that's awesome. I think that's a really sweet gesture. I don't think it's
very,
weird at all.
yeah. And that's man. So we're sorry that your friend passed away, man. That's awful. Glad that he had someone like you in his life, though.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys had the music. And he ends by saying, now that I've thoroughly depressed you, I want to say thanks for your amazing podcast. Takes me back to some of the best times I've had so far. Keep up the good work. Man, thank you, Albert.
Well, Albert, like Clint said, I think I can second him. I think what you're going to do at that show is a very nice gesture, even if it's a thing where, you're just going to have them with you, or at the end of the show when people are walking out, maybe toss them on the ground or something. I don't know what you would do, but either way, it's a great gesture, and I think that your buddy would be smiling down upon you.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, dude.
Our next email is from one of our new contest winners.
Tony, patron.
Get it right, Ethan. Papers everywhere. From Tony Owensworth. Hey, Clint, Ethan. First up, an apology. I've been listening since day one, and becoming a patron has been on my to-do list of shame all this time. Anyway, I've done it now. Sorry it took me so long. I won't bore you with a long ramble about my history with Metallica, but I'll just summarize it briefly for you. Jumped on the ride about age 15 with Justice, went back through the older 3 albums and the 598 EP, got off the ride after the Black Album, and never got back on until now. Wow. Basically, you guys have inspired me to check out what I've been missing all these years, and I've been enjoying it a lot more than I thought. Currently digging into the load properly for the first time, and the instrumentation is really flavorsome. Even if the material isn't always the best, Saint Anger is unlistenable though. I can't get through a single song.
Yeah,
that's understandable. Yeah,
I get it.
But I mean, listening to loads for the first time, that's pretty cool. Anyways, getting into all this stuff has raised a question for you guys to mull over, given how experimental the band got on the load/reload in terms of doing the lighter stuff, country songs and so on. Do you think the band's name has painted them a bit into a corner? Are they forever deemed to be tethered to playing heavy music, even if they might not always want to, simply because their chosen band name contains a genre and as a name as an integral part, i.e. metal? Is that why they had to go back to playing metal with Death Magnetic and Hardwired, or do you think they just love playing it again?
No, I think Metallica does whatever the fuck they want. I don't think they're beholden to their name. I don't think Metallica's a great... It's weird. It's like, on one hand, it is an amazing band name, Metallica.
Yeah.
On the other hand, not so great. Most band names aren't very good. The Beatles, but we're going to spell it differently.
Right.
Like a beat in music.
Yeah.
Horrifyingly bad. But I can't imagine it being anything else. They're
Well,
the
yeah,
fucking
that
Beatles.
and I've often talked about this with other friends, is that sometimes bands have a really bad band name, but they're such a good band, you kind of ignore it, and then it just becomes associated with it.
Right.
You know, I think one of the, and maybe, I'm a little biased here because it's my favorite band ever besides Metallica, but I think The Clash is one of the best band names ever.
Great band name.
But like, Jimmy Eat World.
Yeah.
Terrible band name.
Soul Asylum.
Yeah. That's not terrible.
Collective
An
Soul.
Asylum of Souls.
It's just too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
It's a lot darker for, a song like, Runaway Train or Somebody to
Black
Shove.
Gold. Yeah. April Fool's Day. They have a song called April Fool's Day.
What's up, Dark Continent? We are Soul Asylum. Black Gold.
Totally. Good night, Dark Continent. We are Marcy Playground.
Yeah.
I smell sex and candy.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, he says, why did they go back to Death Magnetic? He's asking, was it because of their name? Hell no. I mean,
No.
They went on a fucking journey, and they wanted to work with Rick, and they wanted to come back with some power.
Yeah. And I think they made the right call. I mean, I don't think at any point, again, Metallica have been vocal about it. They do whatever the hell they want.
Case in point, Lulu.
Exactly.
Exhibit
you know
A.
who wanted to do that record? Metallica.
Right.
So, case in point, St. Anger, whatever. But yeah, I think they truly love metal, obviously, and maybe they missed playing that heavier stuff, or not because they have been playing it obviously live, but I think they maybe missed creating that kind of music.
But you as a songwriter, me as a songwriter, know that sometimes you're writing whatever. I mean, I remember when James said this in an interview. He's like, we didn't know St. Anger was going to be whatever. We were just writing the next Metallica record. Yeah. And that's what it's like. Like, whether it's a muse or whether you're just crafting it because it's time to make another record, those are the songs that came through James and Lars,
For sure.
Those were the riffs he was writing. Those are the ones Lars put together, blah, blah, blah. So,
yeah.
Great question, though.
Yeah, really good question. Yams by saying it's an amazing podcast, one of the best ever. Keep it up, Tony from Whitstable, England, New Jersey.
Bonus question.
Oh, I skipped that on accident. Would a solo career have enabled Jimmy James Papa Het Jr., Sr., Jr. to indulge in all of these flavors unhindered by the metal tag? I still stand by it. I think James would make like a kind of a cool country, slightly Americana, stripped down record if he ever did a solo record.
And we've talked about it too, but what if he did a record with Pepper Keenan?
That'd
like
be cool.
A side project, like a southern rock.
That'd be very cool.
Man. But the thing is, he doesn't need to. I mean, he put Mama Said on a Metallica record. That's just
that to me would be the closest.
A James Hetfield solo country song.
Agreed.
And by the way, I love that song. I have absolutely no problem with it. I love Mama Said. Just for the record.
My mama said. Oh, not the Lenny Kravitz version.
No.
That's a great song too.
Yeah, Lenny Kravitz rocks.
What a bad band name, Lenny Kravitz.
Terrible.
Yeah, such a bad band name.
Wait, are you Lenny or are you Kravitz?
Yeah, which one are you?
Okay, Ruth Aparecida writes, hi, Ethan and Clint. My name is Ruth, and I live in Sao Paulo, Brazil. New Jersey, obviously.
Of course,
she writes, by the way. I'm a new listener. Metallica is the band I'm addicted to right now. I've heard every episode. I love the imitations. It's very fun. Every Friday on Twitter has a hashtag called #Podcast Friday, where people indicate new podcast episodes to listen to. And guess what? I recommend you there.
Oh, cool.
It's the best company on Mondays. Peace, Ruth. Oh, man, thank you, Ruth.
Thank you, Ruth. I could go for some cachaça right now.
Always nice when the ladies come out for Metal Up Your Podcast.
I know.
I don't hate it.
It's not as often as the fellas, but yeah, it's nice. So thank you, Ruth, for writing in.
Thanks, Ruth.
And I've been to Sao Paulo. It's a beautiful, beautiful city.
All right, we got a few more here.
A few more, we're almost done. Jason Bray, our old friend. Hey, Clint and Ethan. Just want to say congratulations on the Jim Florentine interview. As a longtime listener, it's satisfying to be on the ride and see you guys take bigger and bigger steps on the journey to getting one of the boys on the podcast, or at least someone like Eddie Trunk or Ray Burton, etc. I know you guys are. I know you're working on those aspirations, and I'm right there with you guys, cheering you on along the way. Jim was hilarious and had a lot of valuable insight to offer. Thanks, man. as an aspiring podcaster, I appreciate what you guys do and the amount of effort that goes into editing each episode. The time you devote to creating valuable content while having families to take care of is worthy of a hearty handshake at the minimum. Well, I expect a handshake one day when I meet you.
I've pretty much stopped doing handshakes.
Really?
It's not been an easy.
Is it a
transition.
germy thing?
Yeah. Well, I'm not a germ guy, but people's hands, man.
What do you do instead of fist bump or elbow?
Unfortunately, the only way to really lube that situation up is I have to do a goddamn fist bump. But I tell like people come to my house to write, and I actually tell them like, hey, I don't do. I'd rather, you know what I'd rather even do, even with a dude, a side hug, because we both have clothes on.
Yeah.
But your hand, first of all, let's just take it at bare minimum. It was on your fucking steering wheel right before you're touching me. Let alone you're picking your nose, you're scratching your butt. You're handling money. You're
Money's
fucking
filthy
ass fucking credit cards.
Yeah.
You know what handshakes are? It was for you to signal that you did not have a weapon.
Yeah.
All right? That's what it's from. We're beyond that. No need.
Are we?
Do you? Okay,
Are we
sorry.
beyond that?
He says, I often feel a high when I'm done recording an episode. He's in this second paragraph, right? Sorry, I totally fucking derailed you.
I often feel a high when I'm done recording an episode of my podcast, but then I have to rally when it comes down to editing an episode, so I get it. I intend on singing Creeping Death at karaoke this past weekend, but they didn't have it, so I settled for Sad But True instead. That's a worthy backup.
Nice.
I'll send you guys the video. It wasn't great, but fun nonetheless. Anyways, keep great work and keep fighting the good fight. Jason Bure. Oh, P.S. Ethan, your 20th anniversary of Armageddon massive episodes on the Pirate Satellite have been great, so thanks for that as well. That's I mentioned it to you before we started recording. My first touring band was called the Dingies, and our first album called Armageddon Massive turned 20 last weekend. So I decided to get together the three other members and the producer for that record.
That's a great idea for your podcast.
Yeah, it turned out great. People seem to really enjoy it. So yeah, I had all the other three dudes, the producers, this guy Steve Kravac, and we just kind of reminisced about the record. And I ended up doing like 4 episodes that were 45 minutes or so. It was really cool. People seem to enjoy it. So
that's called the Pirate Satellite for all you out there.
Go check it out.
Thanks, Jason. Here's the deal about karaoke, dude. It's not supposed to be good. If someone's killing karaoke like where it's good, I boo them.
Like most places in Nashville.
Boo.
Boo.
Seriously, fucking boo.
Yeah, we get it. You're trying to showcase yourself and your talents.
No one cares. No one gives a fuck.
My recommendation when you go into karaoke, figure out how high you can sing or what your range is, and then just pick a higher song. That's the best part, because you're just not going to hit those notes.
Oh my God, I'll never forget, man. I was kind of drunk somewhere on tour and ran up to the guy, sweetened the deal. Like, I'm like, how long's the line? He's like, I don't know. You're like 15 people. I give him like $20. I'm like, can I go next?
Where am I at now?
Like, I'm notorious for that. And I picked Ordinary World by Duran Duran.
Ooh.
Real high.
Yeah.
I won't cry for yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Real long, real high. I mean, I was exhausted when I got off the stage.
I'm going to do Injustice for All next because it's like 9 minutes long. Just find the longest song possible.
What are you going to do during all the instrumental parts? Gun.
Headbang with a hat on. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do the either the Ronnie Rising medley, because definitely out of my range.
Oh, for sure.
And just keep people in there for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, you can't sing like that.
Holy diver.
I want to say this real quick about Jason Berry too. He started a podcast with his wife called The Bar Church. It's interesting. It's sort of about religion, but it's about culture and family. They live in a small town in Oregon called The Bar Church. I recommend it. Go check it out. Okay, cool.
Check it out.
The end of that. All right, Dan Cantor. This is our last one, folks. Now, Dan is he's been like sort of tweeting at us and shit for a little over a year. He's a musician from Canada. He's I don't know what he does, actually. I tried to look it up briefly, but he's a guitar player. I think he's a songwriter. He's out on tour in Europe right now. He writes, hey, guys, currently traveling in the UK, and Patreon wanted to add, I guess they wanted to add some weird tax because he's in the UK. So I'm sending you a Ride the Lightning year's worth over at PayPal. Long overdue to write you an email. I mean to every week, and now I'll have a book of things to write you. Thanks for all you do. I didn't think I could go any deeper with Metallica, but you've accompanied me through an incredible journey, further rediscovering my favorite band of all time. Looking forward to hopefully meeting up at a show or sometime in Nashville. Dan. Thanks, Dan.
That's awesome. Thanks, man.
And we should have Dan on the show, talk about his career,
his music and touring. Yeah, he's got a shitload of followers on social media and stuff.
Yeah.
And he obviously does well. So congratulations to Dan.
And thanks for all the support, dude. And by the way, we have some people that have done that. They've chosen to bypass the structure of Patreon, and they just PayPal us money. Now, for all of you folks out there, I think we may have 10 people who have done that. When we do a Patreon exclusive thing, I'm starting to forget who all's done it at that level.
Right, yeah.
Because we just send it all through Patreon, like the new EP or whatever. You guys just write in and let us know if you're feeling left out of something.
Right.
We want to make sure that you guys are involved in all the Patreon exclusive shit. It's just hard because you guys aren't structured through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. Let's get out of the emo corner.
Can we please? Hey, this is Ethan and Clint from Metal Up Your Podcast, and we want to talk to you about something we love called Patreon.
That's right. Patreon is a way for fans of the show to give back to the show, to donate money that helps us in quality and content. And not only that, but we've actually come up with all sorts of fun incentives to give back to you for supporting the show.
Exactly. For instance, if you donate $5 or more, you get access to Cover Our World Blackened, which is the official Metal Up Your Podcast Metallica cover EP.
That's right, and that's the only way to get it. In addition to the EP, we also give you priority email access, meaning we'll read your email first on the show. We give you early access to Patreon-exclusive merchandise, Patreon-exclusive giveaways, and any other side projects that Ethan and I might be involved in.
There's all sorts of things you can look at on there and you can donate to. Go check it out. Patreon.com/metalupyourpodcast. How do you spell that, Clint?
patreon.com/metalupyourpodcast. And if you really think about it, $5 a month for an entire year, that's really just like a cup of coffee a month. So go check it out. Thanks, everyone. Peace.
Adios. All right, let's talk about live shit Binge and Purge Seattle 1989.
I'm stoked.
Just kidding, April Fools. Episode's over. Bye. By the way, speaking of tangents, why didn't we think of some funny April Fool's thing to do to our fans?
Because we're not douchebags.
That's true. We could have done something really good to like announce like Hetfield's on the show.
Well, we still can.
That's true. Guess what, guys? Next week, James Hetfield. You heard it here first.
April Fools, suckers.
April Fools, yay!
I'm not a big fan of pranks in general. I never did the tour prank thing. Like,
No?
don't prank me, please. Don't fuck with me. Like, basically, the truce I'm in with all people, including you, is don't fuck with me. I won't fuck with you.
It's pretty easy. See, if I ever were to prank anybody, I haven't done tour prank stuff in a long time on the road, but if I were to do it, it's never harmful.
Or fuck up someone's gear or clothes or something.
No, nothing like that. You know, it would be, although there was one band that, I mean, it was their very first tour, they were green. I mean, I straight up like, for instance, one show, like they were opening, so they sound checked last. While they were like in catering, eating, I went up to the drummer's kit and I balled up a piece of gaff tape and I put it on his kick drum beater. So the first hit of the song, his kick drum pedal, or his beater stuck to the head.
All right.
So I fucked with their set.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's okay. It was fun.
I know the Metallica boys, they do the pie in the face if it's your birthday.
Right.
I mean, I'd let James Hetfield pee on me, let alone put a pie on my face.
Don't fuck with me. I won't fuck with you unless your name is James Hetfield.
Then do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I do draw a line at Lars spitting his fucking drink in my mouth.
Yeah, he still does that. I can't hang.
Binge and Purge, man, it's exciting. It's been really fun to dive back into it. We're going to be doing the next 2 weeks are going to be San Diego and then Mexico City.
Yeah.
And we're going to kind of talk about the packaging, where I'm looking at Ethan's old school VHS live Binge and Purge box set now.
I got the box set. Still got the stencil in there. I've never actually stenciled anything, but
Well, my butt's right here.
I got some
Clean
spray
and
paint
ready.
close by.
It's the first live album by Metallica, which I thought was surprising that they didn't put something out from the Puppets era.
Right.
Maybe they just didn't get anything they liked. But, hearing all the Puppet shows on that deluxe box set, like, those shows were fucking awesome.
Yeah, they sound great.
Released on November 23rd, 1993, just in time for Christmas, which was smart. They're smart business people over at Q Prime.
Oh, yeah.
It's, of course, a box set format. For their first live record, they fucking went crazy.
Oh, yeah. A full box set, yeah.
The initial pressings contained 3 CDs or cassette tapes, which was sort of a compilation of they did 5 nights in Mexico City on the Nowhere Else to Roam tour in 93, and then also 3 different VHS tapes or 2 DVDs, which were the 92 San Diego show, Wherever We May Roam tour, and the 1989 Damaged Justice tour in Seattle, which is what we're talking about today.
It's cool that they went back and pulled something pre-Black Album, too.
It's amazing.
Because because you have the the other 2 discs are from the Black Album era,
right?
And it's great. And I love the intro. We'll get into it, but I love the intro of this one where it shows like present day at the time, and then it starts rewinding and showing things that happened, and then it lands on Seattle.
Right.
And it's so cool.
Originally released as a cardboard box, it looked like a Metallica road case, which I think is an amazing idea.
Yeah, I mean, mine is that one with the VHSs. The only downside of mine is the clips on the back that held up the lid broke off years ago, but yeah, still it's a great piece.
And it came with this, I'm holding it right now, like this very well put together amazing 72-page booklet with, I mean, you could sit down and just read this thing. Like, it's so interesting with correspondence from the band and management. There's like letters from Ross Halfin, the photographer, set lists.
Snake Pit Pass. I should bring the Snake Pit Pass to the next time I go see
if
him.
it works.
See if it works.
How many Metallica fans have fucking done that?
Oh, for sure. People have tried that.
I mean, what's the number? 1 million? Maybe 1 million.
Maybe 1 million.
The booklet's amazing. I mean, I would buy this book.
Oh, yeah.
And it came with a stencil. I think it came with Wikipedia says that it came with a T-shirt. I could not find this T-shirt.
Mine did not come with a T-shirt.
It
Now,
says
it could have been a thing that was like shrink wrapped on the outside of it or something, but I definitely didn't get a T-shirt with mine.
All right, for those of you listening out there, if you got the T-shirt, if it did in fact come along, send it to us. We'll put it on the socials, and we'll
Maybe
give you
it was the
credit
other
for
version with DVDs or something later. I don't know, but I can speak for my box set, and there was no T-shirt in there, unless it's buried in there and I just never saw it.
What if it's still there? What if there's a literal coiled snake in there?
Yeah, still alive after 20 years of owning this
Well,
thing.
it's been eating the T-shirt slowly.
Yeah, it survives off cotton. It's a vegetarian.
Oh, God. This is impressive. Binge Purge has been certified 15 times platinum as a long-form video format. Those dudes were just printing.
That's insane.
They were just printing fucking money in the 90s, dude.
Now, is the actual box set itself 15 times platinum, or did they? I wondered. I don't think I ever even cared to look it up. But
I believe the box set is itself 15
yeah,
million.
because I think at one point they have sold just the audio.
Yes.
So I wasn't sure if that was 15 times, but I'd imagine it was this, because this was a big deal.
Well, because they're counting it as a video. They're not even
Right.
counting it as a CD.
Right.
The Mexico City.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, when this was released, this was in the peak of Metallica's career. Like, the Black Album had been out. They're on touring the Black Album. So releasing something like this was a huge deal for their fans.
It's smart and it's cool. I think it's aged really well. It's like, they could have released Seattle 89 on its own.
Oh, yeah.
And then they could have released Mexico City on its own.
I mean, to me,
And people would have bought all that shit.
Oh, yeah. To me, the Seattle one is like, I mean, that's sometimes, honestly, my go-to old Metallica video to watch when it's like, I want to watch like the boys in their prime.
Yeah,
Like,
I would say, although we don't really have the real video of it, Mexico City is my...
yeah.
When I think of them in that era, I think of Mexico City.
Well, and those crowds down there are insane too.
Yeah, they have a big history with
Oh,
that.
yeah.
All right, we're going to do a track by track here in a second. So we mentioned this when the set was reissued. It was reissued to a 3 CD, 2 DVD format. The book I mentioned is on one of the DVDs. James and Lars produced it. So to focus here on the Seattle show, because there's a lot of I mean, burning the set list down. I mean, I have notes for every song.
Right. Yeah.
Because these performances, like you just said, are so beloved.
Oh, yeah.
They're etched into my brain. And if we're going to do it, let's do it fucking right.
Let's gonna do a track by track.
All right.
Track by track. Okay. I mean, the most barn burny of all intros. I mean, coming right out of the gate with a sped up version of Blackened.
Yeah, it's faster.
Of course, you have the
Ecstasy
Ecstasy
of
of Gold
Gold
playing. It shows them walking backstage, which was a kind of a common thing with some of their live stuff. It's showing them getting ready and maybe taking a drink, or Lars getting his arm worked on. I always love those little clips of them just like making their way to the stage and stuff.
just
High-fiving people.
Builds anticipation.
Yeah.
James crushing the beer can, I always remembered liking that.
Oh, yeah.
Lars and Kirk high-fiving in the hall, shots of the crowd going crazy. Yeah, they pretty much typically, I think we forget this sometimes, but they were generally opening those tours with what the record opened with.
Yeah.
I mean, they opened with Enter Sandman in Mexico City.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, which is now their biggest song, obviously, but that's insane.
I wouldn't mind seeing them open with Enter Sandman again.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
At the top of the, just like boom. Like,
Well, because guess what? If they open with Enter Sandman and then they close with Creeping Death or Master of Puppets, I'm still fucking stoked.
No problem.
Complaints.
I mean, I would only complain if they ended the set with like Purify or something. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Huh?
Any of you guys have Lulu out there?
Yeah, totally.
Are you alive? Nope.
No,
Not
we
anymore.
died just now. We died
Sorry.
when you made Lulu. Yeah, so the intro tape's playing for Blackened. Amazing opener. It works great on the record. It's a fucking barn burner live.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's adrenaline or what, but it is a little... That riff is so tight.
It's a little sloppy.
So important.
Yeah. I think it is adrenaline because you see them and like...
And they're playing it fast.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. They're playing it so fast. But like... And James starts it fast because the tape ends and he's like...
No, it's James, yeah.
I think it's adrenaline. I mean, they've got a sold-out arena show.
Adrenaline starts to flow?
Thrashing all around. They were really acting like maniacs on this one.
You know what? Whiplash. God, we're fucking hilarious.
Yeah, we're so funny.
But you know what? If someone's going to play it sloppily or fast, it's James Hetfield. He gets the all-time pass.
Yeah,
because he's the dude who played it on the record, and him and Jason wrote it together.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? I mean,
I guess what I'm saying is I don't give a shit.
I don't either. Yeah, I remember rewatching it last night until I fell asleep.
You remember last night?
Kind of.
Dude, I remember. Hold on, like let me just comb through my memories here. I remember like this morning.
I remember like waking up at. I'm pretty sure I made breakfast.
We should say it is early in the morning.
Yeah, well, Clint came over here to HQ1 at 9:30 a.m. I think it might be the earliest we've started.
It is.
Unless there was a time where I was in Europe or something and it was 9 a.m. for you or something. But this is the first time together in person that we've gone this early, which I kind of dig.
I love it.
Good way to start the day.
I have no problem with. Well, we're doing like an Easter egg hunt with the kiddos later.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
So
with the dogs, and I'm just gonna throw eggs in the backyard and make them get them. Go get them. Get that egg.
Sounds fun.
Get that protein. The other thing I was going to say about the Blacken is kind of to reiterate what you're saying about you don't care that it's kind of sloppy. I don't either, only because the fucking energy they come out of the gate with at this show, and it just continues through every single song.
Oh,
this one is just like
does not let up.
And dude, every show he's ever played when they do Blacken, Jason yelling fire,
love it.
That's what makes him. I mean, the king of BGVs and Metallica.
Well, that's going to be a thread that runs through all of these episodes.
He shines on this.
Jason's BGVs. And you sort of get a taste of what the editing is going to be like here in Blacken. Obviously, it's the first song. It's mildly disorienting. It's very jumpy. They did this over 2 nights, August 29th and 30th, at the Seattle Coliseum. So they edited from both nights.
Yeah.
So there's some continuity issues throughout, which, I don't know, part of me is like, I kind of get it. They're trying to make the best show they can from 2 nights. But part of me is like, if I was editing this motherfucker and Kirk's hands are not playing the solo that we're hearing.
Oh, you're talking about like syncing errors.
Yeah, because there's continuity errors.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I'm going to just hone in on Lars. We're going to take a different shot.
There was one, I can't remember what song it was, but there's one where I think he's on the hi-hat and you hear the China cymbal.
There's lots of that throughout. And it's forgivable. And I'll tell you what I definitely never noticed when I was a kid is any of that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever notice that when you were a kid?
Nope. Didn't notice that until I got older.
Not a single fucking time did I go, wait a minute, his hands aren't playing that.
Exactly, yeah.
Isn't that weird?
And now I notice it all the time.
Well, now it's almost all I look for.
Yep.
Strangely.
Yeah, just put it on mute and look for errors.
I love the fuck yeah ending before the trash can.
Yeah.
And then we go into For Whom the Bell Tolls, and I wanted to play a clip of this one because it's powerful.
This is, I mean, you got to think too. This is only what? Where are we at? 6, 7 years after. Not even that. It was 7 years. We're only 6 years after Kill 'Em All.
Well, Kill 'Em All's 82. This is 89.
83.
83, right.
89. So,
Let's not talk math and numbers. We're going to get it wrong.
But For Whom the Bell Tolls still sounds so fresh. They're
dude,
only 2 records later. But
it sounded fresh last year in
for sure.
Detroit. I mean,
it's just cool to watch this thing and watch them play this, knowing that only 5 years before that they had recorded this, or 6 years before that they had recorded this record.
And I think I've never seen a performance of it where the band just didn't have a shit ton of confidence. The song part of it is that it's really easy to play.
Yeah.
So I think they know that they can just sort of like lurch around the stage.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of dexterity involved.
Yeah, it's not like Blackened.
It's just it's not like Blackened.
Yeah.
And the song is so good, such a crowd favorite.
Oh yeah.
They always just crush this fucking
Jason
song.
kills the intro. Does a great job on it, I think.
You know, I think Rob does this too, and we're not going to turn this into a Jason versus Rob thing necessarily, but I saw a lot of love for Cliff through Jason's performances.
Yeah.
I know Rob does that too. I mean, Rob killed Anesthesia last year.
Oh, of course, still does.
Rob murders Orion.
Yeah.
No fucking doubt about it. Gets the tone right, gets the vibe right, blah, blah, blah. But Jason brought a lot of that respect and love for Cliff into his performances.
I think it was a tough thing to maybe swallow at first because he, didn't play like Cliff. He played with a pick instead of his fingers.
Different player.
Yeah, different player, different basses, different gear, all this stuff. But like when you hear the intro to From the Bell Tolls on this thing, there's parts where if you kind of shut your eyes, it's like, dude, that sounds like Cliff.
Yeah.
I think he was really channeling what Cliff did in that song, what he brought to the table. And making it his own kind of too.
Well, I think also what Jason brought to the table, because he wasn't as much of like a crazy artist type as Cliff.
Right.
Is there sometimes that Cliff played it and it didn't sound like Cliff, because Cliff was sometimes playing different shit every night.
Oh yeah.
Because that's what Cliff was like.
Yeah, he was very into improv and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he probably ever played Anesthesia the same.
Yeah, and improv comedy, which is a little known fact about him.
Yeah, he was big at the comedy.
Yeah, he used to go to open mic nights on days off from tour.
Him and Gary Shandling. Dude, I just watched that Gary Shandling documentary.
I saw you post about that. I haven't seen it. Is it awesome? Did it make you miss him?
Well, yeah, and what an amazing life, amazing man, and it's really sad.
I'm sure, yeah.
It pulls no punches about his neurosis.
Yeah.
He spent his whole life practicing Buddhism and shit, and like he just needed that, and it didn't really work.
What? Where'd you watch it?
In my room.
No, I mean, as in, like, was it on?
It's on HBO.
It's on HBO. Okay, cool.
And for those of you, if you're a fan of Larry Sanders Show or That's the Gary Shandling Show, Judd Apatow produced it. He was tight with Gary. And I mean, all these great comics are in it talking about how he helped them. And
oh yeah, I mean, Gary Shandling was a legend.
But the Larry Sanders Show is my favorite show of all time.
Yeah.
So basically, it's two parts. The first part is kind of his childhood and he was a screenwriter, or he wrote scripts for comedies. Like Sanford and Son and shit, and then he became a stand-up. That's kind of part one. Part two is a documentary about the Larry Sanders Show.
Cool.
And then the end of his life.
Awesome.
Which was really sad. But anyway, back to For Whom the Bell Tolls. This is the first time I ever saw this song live, was Seattle 89.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Nice.
for me, as a kid. So when they do that, it's the last time he well.
Oh, yeah.
I'd never heard that or seen that. So imagine me, like 13, watching this.
Yeah.
On a, I was just like, oh my God. Me and my friends looking at her like, holy shit.
Yeah. And this is back when, obviously not in 89, but when this thing came out, it was like, you got together with your friends to watch it. Like, dudes, I got the Seattle show. I got Binge and Purge. We're going to watch the Seattle show tonight. Come over.
And it was no talking. Unless it was in between songs, or it was like, we're pausing it to sort of riff on, like, can you believe what just fucking happened?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I love how James intros the song. He's like, for who the motherfucking bell tolls.
Yeah, I know. All that stuff, especially when I was a kid, I loved.
Oh, yeah.
Because, it's like, were you like this as a kid, where it's like, I almost at some points even had the banter memorized?
Oh, yeah. There's certain stuff for sure.
Like clapping your tits together and shit. Like,
I forgot that one. There's that one, yeah.
I love when that at the end, that dong gong gong gong, Lars jumps off the kit, and he's standing. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, and he still does that now.
And still does. It's a great move. It's a great riff.
Well, that's Lars being a standout drummer, not just being hiding behind the kit. Like, he's kind of like another front man in a way. It's like,
well, there are several moments. I don't know if this is in the Mexico, because I watched Mexico City too. Just because I was just on a Binge and Purge binge. But there's one point where Kirk's doing like a Kirk doodle, and Lars you just see Lars run into the frame, and he like puts his head down the guitar. It was like he just couldn't stand to just be back there.
Yeah, there's other times where he's like literally laying on top of his drum kit, like leaning over, looking at the crowd, like
just yelling.
Yeah, just yelling at people.
Come on.
Yeah,
I wonder what he's yelling.
There's a lot of points in this Seattle performance where James is like, I think it's probably part of the show, but it's like he's getting pissed that they're not reacting louder, even though that crowd is going fucking crazy.
It kind of wears me out
a little bit,
because well, first of all, they have the crowd mixed. I mean, maybe they weren't going that crazy, and just the audio, they're like, let's just make the crowd sound like Kiss did that. Kiss added crowd noise to Kiss.
I don't know.
Alive.
When you look at certain shots of that crowd, I mean, it looks like a war zone.
Yeah, and James is being like, what? You guys go to sleep? It's like, James, man. I think James was still becoming a front man, even in 89.
Yeah.
And I think he'd struggled with shit to say,
Yeah, so he's like, just talk about, his manager said, just talk about how quiet they are, and they'll get louder.
Just keep telling them to shout louder.
Yeah.
Even though you reach a physical peak limit on that.
I would love to have been old enough, really, to see a show like this back then, where it's
I would have been scared to death.
Me too. I felt nervous watching it last night.
The people on the rail look like real exhausted.
Like, help.
Yeah, totally.
Send help now.
Why did I do this? What did I get myself
Even the
into?
dudes in the event staff shirts are kind of backed up from the crowd. Like, I'm not going in there, man.
Well, I remember seeing a Perfect Circle on the 13th Step tour, and I ran up to GA foolishly. I was a young man. This is what you do when you're young.
Right.
And I was equivalent of about the fifth row, and opening band played. They were awful. No one gave a fuck. Everyone was being cool. When Perfect Circle came on, and you could see Maynard James Keenan silhouetted in the back,
Yeah.
everyone crammed. It was like a physics fucking miracle.
Yeah.
In space that did not exist, everyone crammed me from like fifth row to row 2.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I could not move my arms.
It's terrifying.
It was pretty scary.
Claustrophobic.
And once you kind of got there, it was cool. Like because no one could do anything.
Yeah.
But then on a heavy, like Judith played, and then the crowd starts to move like a fucking ocean.
Oh, it's
and
weird.
You're moving with it,
and you have no choice. It's just moving.
Like that shit is not for me.
Yeah,
dude.
that exact same thing happened to me when I saw Rage Against the Machine in '96 on the Evil Empire CD release show.
Oh,
and
wonderful! That's my favorite Rage record, by the way.
It's awesome. I lasted one song down on the floor, and I was like, I'm out. I can't.
Oh, you split?
Oh, dude, it was terrifying. Like, I mean, people were like in the pit, like right next to me. Dudes bigger than me were just shoving dudes in the pit, and they literally would stand up with their face covered in blood. I'm like, okay, like because I'm being a musician back then. Still, I'm like, I want to watch the band. I don't want to just run in a circle.
No, dude,
and like get my face all bloodied up.
I'm not
I
going
want
there
to
to
watch
fight
this
some
band.
redneck.
Exactly.
I just now discovered this recently. Have you heard of this Wall of Death?
Yeah, they did it at Slayer shows.
Oh my! I saw this one guy. It was like some terrible band on a daytime slot at some festival, and he's going, "I want to see a fucking Wall of Death right now." How about the whole crowd goes, "No, we want to hear a good song right now."
Yeah, we want to hear a really good song. I can't remember what band it was on Warped Tour that...
Let's explain what a Wall of Death is.
Okay, Wall of Death, most of you might know what it is, but if you don't, for the layman out there, basically the crowd right
the
down...
lame man out
The
there.
lame man. The crowd right down the middle splits in half and you back up, basically, and create a huge amount of empty space on the floor.
Like the parting of the Red Sea.
Parting of the Red Sea, yeah. Brother. So then what happens is... No, so at one point, so the crowd all splits in half and everyone's just like amped up. It's like some Braveheart shit.
It is like that.
And then the band will go into some part. Like when I saw Slayer, it happened, and it's band induced. Like
for sure.
Yeah. Tom Araya at one point, like when they went into like whatever part on Angel of Death or something, all of a sudden the crowd just goes at each other. I might have a video of it on my phone. I took it in slow motion.
Yeah, well, so after people make that big rift, they all just run at each other. It is
run
like
each
total
other.
Braveheart.
Yeah. Thankfully, they don't have like spears and swords and stuff.
They're not. Thankfully, they're not wearing fucking Kerry King's porcupine arm
Yeah,
cuff.
exactly. Melody Podcast sponsored by Kerry King Porcupines. Get yours today at Walmart, $7.99.
No porcupines were killed in Bedford. Like the small print guy.
All porcupine wristbands are vegan.
You can no porcupines.
Micro machines.
Okay, Kirk rips a solo at the end of this. It does a Star Spangled Banner. I think that's fun. Our friend Gene Froman made a comment. She was like, all of Kirk's riffing in across the board in Binge Purge, stellar.
He's pretty on. I mean, I
Stellar.
kind of, it was strange, but I kind of liked that he had a short little lead part after the second song.
Yeah, I liked it too.
Because it wasn't too long. It was just kind of him just like ripping, and then he did the Star Spangled Banner thing real quick, and then they move on. But
And we get Sanitarium. So this is kind of first chill moment.
yeah. Yeah, this one. I love how Hetfield starts it. Like your note says, he starts it super slow.
It's slow. It's dramatic.
I dig it.
Which they play a tape now of like the gong king gong.
Yeah,
But it's interesting to see it back then. Obviously, they're playing that part. You know? The dude when James starts singing,
his voice on this song, woo, dude, it's so good. I just got chills. I literally got chills. I'm cold too.
it's cold in here.
It's cold. His vocal performance on this song is so good. I mean, when he gets to
so much control.
Oh yeah, and I feel like this is getting into that era of him as a vocalist, where he is really really coming into his own and getting more control of his voice and not just screaming the whole time. And yeah, he did Fade to Black and then Sanitarium, obviously, but as a live performer, like you said, the control is there, and he's able to go from that soft part in the verse to going louder and more screamier on the chorus.
This week on the forums, there was someone posed the question, what was James's strongest vocal era? And it was no shock to anyone that I chose Load era through S&M.
Right.
And I hold to that. I still believe it. But
Sure.
a lot of people did say 89 to 93.
I mean, God. Yeah.
And yeah, like I of course I agree with it. But going back and watching it this week and kind of like living in it, I was like, oh, I see why people are saying that.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it really is remarkable.
And this is pre James blowing his voice out and
Right.
getting a vocal coach
Right.
and learning to sing properly.
So it's
and,
strong and there's a lot of control, but it's still that rawness.
I mean, I don't know how that dude didn't blow his voice out every night. I mean, when you watch this, it's like, what is it, 2 hours and 26 minutes or something?
It's long. It's a long show.
It's long, and
Mexico City is even longer. It's crazy.
I mean, I know it's 2 shows edited together, but I mean, let's even say the actual show itself was 2 hours. To sing like that, I mean, and they were back then. They probably weren't doing one show, one day off, load-in day, one show.
No,
I mean, back then they were probably doing
stacking
5
them.
nights in a row.
Yeah, they're
you
probably
know?
stacking them. I don't know how they did that. Like, and that's even just them. I mean, there's a lot more actual singing. You take a band like Pantera.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how Phil Anselmo did that shit.
Well, you've heard him talk now.
Yeah, totally.
Well, what we do, bro?
It's almost like he's doing like a really mellow Hulk Hogan.
Well, let me tell you something, brothers. When I was in Pantera and blah, blah, blah.
Man, I miss Dime so much. I was watching some Dime interviews yesterday.
You know, I think we've talked about this. One of the best performances was, I think it was Ozfest 04. Was that the one? It's I guess it was close to one of their last tours.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's like
Reinventing the Steel was like 01.
Yeah,
So-
maybe it was a little sooner than that. I'll have to relook it up. But man, it's so good. I mean, they're so
Oh, yeah.
tight. Phil's got long hair again, kind of a beard, and he's
Yeah,
wearing
he
like,
had long hair in that period.
like camo shorts, and he's still. I mean, some of the high stuff he couldn't really hit anymore,
Yeah.
but he still sounded good. And
when they do like Cowboys from Hell, it gets rough.
yeah, but I mean, dude, Diamond, that thing, it's like flawless.
He's amazing, dude.
Everything.
We're getting so my country gig, we basically Thursday through Sunday we're out on the road, and we're getting we're leasing our bus for the whole year. We've been hopping on different buses every week, but now we're going to have our own bus. Many people know I turned my bunk into what I call the Kiss Cave.
Yeah.
But this year I'm turning it into kind of a Metallica Dime. Like I've got a bunch of Dime bag shit that's
nice.
going to go in there. Like a bunch of cool like pictures of his that Dean Lightning guitar.
Yeah. The Metallica Cave,
Yeah, what's this going to be like a metal cave?
Pantalica Cave.
Pentalica.
Let's move on. We're only on track 2 or 3. We're on 3. Sorry.
Jason's harmonies in the verses again. Miss him, love him.
Oh yeah.
Great harmony singer. You know, he did a lot of like growly shit with James because that's what the gig required.
Right.
But his actual like when he does on One, he does it on the verses
Yep.
of One. If you guys ever really want a window into the heat he brought to the table in the harmony game, go look at the I Disappear live video from like the MTV Music Awards.
Yeah.
In 2000. And for whatever reason, they have his harmony cranked. Like it's not good.
Right.
The mix isn't good because his harmony's too loud. But you can hear how fucking amazing they are.
Oh yeah. I mean, Jason really shined in the load reload era of doing harmonies. I mean,
His
you
voice
know,
just blended with Hetfield in such a unique
it
way.
did. I mean, a lot when you hear like Fuel live back then, it was
Fuel.
I mean, the chorus on that, doing that high harmony, like Jason.
That
was
high harmony's great. The Hero of the Day stuff. Anyway, all right. Kirk playing that Black Les Paul Custom on Sanitarium. I love that.
Yeah, he does a great job in the song.
He usually plays that on ballads. He plays that on Fade. He plays it on Nothing Else Matters. All right, then we get Harvester of Sorrow, which is just fucking amazing.
It rips. Yeah,
This is where James talks about knocking your tits together.
I know.
Sounds better when you knock your heads together and fit your vocal cords together,
Your hands together,
tits together.
tits together.
Cute fat metalhead like playing with his man boobs.
I tried last night. I was like, I wonder if I've gained enough weight that I could do this. I love that James is playing the Eat Fuck guitar. That's one of my favorite ESPs.
Plays it for most of the show. I don't think
Yeah.
he had a lot of it. I mean, he changes for
The thing that should not be, he plays the Black Explorer.
because it's tuned down.
Right.
So
I do love throughout this whole thing, you start to get glimpses of the gear they used a lot more during the Black Album. Like Kirk's like Jackson V.
Mm-hmm.
He plays the one double cutaway ESP that has that is it the Pirate Skull sticker? It's like backed by the Floyd Rose tremolo.
Kirk.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then he ended up using that a lot in the Black
and he
Album
plays
era.
that kind of smoky. It's like a gray and black smoky
Yeah.
finish.
Yeah.
That's real weird and cool. I know we just mentioned Jason's background vocals, but
his on
Harvester of Sorrow, that the callback, the sort of echo in the choruses.
Yeah,
I
it's so
really
good.
miss that.
He does that so good. I just lost my place on your notes real quick. Sorry. The hammer and pull off riff after the solo. Yeah.
And when they do it with harmonies, I mean that when we did our favorite riffs or whatever, I don't know how that didn't make it.
I know.
That's such a cool thing.
Oh, it totally is. And this one live, I mean, like the crowd's going crazy. It's heavy. This is one of my favorite mixes of a live record, I think. I mean, you talked about earlier how the crowd seems to be really loud in the mix, but I kind of dig it because to me it makes me feel the energy of being there.
Oh,
I hate
love
when
it.
live records come out and the crowd's kind of in the distance and it's like a cleaner, less roomy sounding recording. It sounds like the arena.
Well, it's like when Kiss got criticized for it because they when they had like their pyro go off, they actually added like bomb sounds and shit.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, dude, it's make it over the top, make it crazy.
Well, you know what? That's what it sounds like when you're there in person,
right?
So
bring that experience to me. I don't care. Everyone's like, well, it's not authentic. I don't give a fuck. Take me somewhere. Make it something.
Yeah, for sure.
My only problem with it is James keeps saying throughout the whole show, "You guys are not loud enough."
Are you guys asleep?
Dang, James.
Maybe he just wasn't that great at talking to the crowd.
Dude, we got to talk about that like super dramatic pause before the third verse.
Oh yeah. Oh, I've said that. Yeah.
Which it does. I can't see a count. I mean, I think they were so tight live because it's not like they get a count from anything.
I think James saying all is what it's like. Boom.
But they just got to be ready.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess
because you could fuck that up pretty easy.
Oh yeah, very very badly.
Even if Jason just kind of clanged in there a little later, early.
Exactly. No, I love that long pause. It just builds suspense and comes back in that last verse. Kirk solo's great.
Kirk is great on this whole thing.
Yeah, he really shines.
Four Horsemen, badass. Super fast, but in a good way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it gets a little sloppy at the beginning. Just the man did it. But you know what?
Like
it's
Black and
fucking thrash metal in an arena. I don't care.
Problem.
It doesn't bother me at all. Of course, Jason singing. Some of his growls in this one is great.
The time it's taken its toll on you section in particular is awesome.
Yeah, oh yeah, death.
They don't do the pestilence,
pistol whips,
whippets.
They don't do the bridge. Even back then, they cut it out.
Yeah,
it's so strange because it's such an awesome moment.
I have in my notes. I kind of get it because I don't miss it.
Really? I
mean, I love it. I love it. But when they don't do it, I'm not like, wait a minute.
It definitely keeps the momentum going.
Keeps it up.
Keeps the ball rolling if you cut that out. But that's just one of my favorite moments in Metallica recorded music.
I like it too.
I understand why, but
I wonder
it's about me.
I wonder if they could do it again if they wouldn't even put it on the record.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I do love about that moment is the solo. The solo is so good.
What if... this probably isn't true. And say, what if Mustaine wrote that and they're like, hey, let's cut it out so we have to give more royalties on the live records. But I think he wrote a lot of the other riffs, which became the mechanics too. So, and he didn't have that bridge. I think Metallica added that after the fact.
Okay, cool.
But that'd be
I'll have to go listen to our Kill 'Em All episode
to remember
what the facts are on that.
Exactly.
A lot of good. I have in my notes. A lot of good rock spitting.
Yeah. Hetfield does it a lot.
Which I also do it on stage.
Right. He's
I do it too, and I got to say it probably comes from watching this a million times when I was a kid.
Yeah. I've definitely when I was touring as a drummer, it was usually like as long as no one was in front of me, I just go straight out in front of the drums. Because to the right was like a wedge or whatever,
yeah.
and like
a side fill.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spit on my cymbals. That's gross.
Yuck.
Ew.
Another great Kirk solo. All right, the thing that should not be. Let's hear a clip of this.
How's everybody doing? Okay, man. Shit. It's fucking hot one tonight, man. I'm liking this though, man. I'm fucking happy as hell. This is great shit. Really good to see all you guys, man. Thanks a lot. Fucking cool. We're gonna play some of the Master Puppets now that we just started doing a little bit ago. And it's about the heaviest number known to mankind. It's a big old fat motherfucker called The Thing That Should Not Be.
This one is, I mean, if I were to make a top 5 of this set list, I mean, this could be number 1.
Oh, I mean, it's such a treat. Such a treat to hear this song, as kind of fresh as it is. They're just a few years away from Puppets.
Yeah, Jason introed the song.
That's right. He says it's the heaviest number known to mankind.
Known to man, yeah. And then, James starts it. Jason walks off, switches basses to a detuned bass.
Mm-hmm.
And they just are so tight on this song.
And this is pre-Sabbath True, like, so up to this moment, this is the heaviest shit they had written.
Heavy, sludgy, just detuned. I can't remember if this one's in D or in C sharp.
It's in, I think it is in D.
Okay. But dude, not a lot of metal bands did that back then.
No, yeah.
I believe this is one of the first on a Metallica record that was like not in just normal E.
Yeah, that's right.
But man, this one in particular got me so excited rewatching this. Like,
oh, it's awesome.
The second it kicked in, bum, 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 I was like, gosh, this song is so
good. And my
good.
favorite parts of those verses, man. Messenger, fear, sight, dark deception, kills and night.
And his voice is, flawless on this performance. Just that good 80s Hetfield growl and good bark.
I used to think he was saying in the chorus instead of great old one, I used to think he was saying cradled one.
Cradled one.
Cradled one. I was like, that's
cradled one.
What does he mean?
Forbidden psych.
Psych. Kirk nails a solo. Oh, Kirk's playing a really weird guitar for this.
Oh, this is the one that almost looks like
it's like a red Strat body. It's an ESP,
black pick guard. It almost looks like it would be something like a dude in a glam band would play.
Well,
not over the top like CC DeVille or something.
It is kind of evil looking.
Yeah, it's just not. I don't know. It's the only time I've really ever seen him play something like this.
I was. It was a head scratcher. I didn't remember it from being a kid.
I kept trying to pause it to see if it was an ESP or not. I couldn't tell, or if it was like a Jackson or something.
I couldn't tell if it was red or not. I was like, is the light?
I think it's like a maroon,
but
or
it's like a blood red or whatever. You're right. It is a definite highlight. Another really cool moment though is this Jason bass solo.
Oh my gosh!
I like his bass solos because I think his limitations, like they do in every area of creativity, forced him to do something that sounds different. Well, and so he would always do this kind of chordal melodic thing, kind of a plodding.
I feel like he goes through different like styles to get people stoked. It is like he starts with that thing in a major key,
right?
That's really pretty and stuff.
Then he kind of goes to a punk rock thing.
Yeah, which is awesome. It sounds badass.
Love it.
Then my favorite part, the swells,
so
delay
good.
thing.
And that's a lot of Cliff love in there.
Yeah, he's doing it. It's almost like similar to like the intro to like Damage Incorporated.
Right, it is like that.
And he's doing those high notes, and then he does one where he like when he swells the volume in, it's like bent up a half step and comes down.
Yeah.
Then it's the low note, and it's so nice. It made me want to like plug in my bass and get a volume pedal and
I
stuff.
agree. It was inspiring. They're kind of those whale call kind of sounds.
Well, and for a live bass solo, he's not up there just like showing off.
Right.
He's putting something out there for everyone to listen to that's like very creative, very pleasant to listen to.
Very artful.
Very, very much so. I love it. It's definitely a highlight.
I could give a hot fuck about watching some guy go up there and be like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, play the Seinfeld theme song over and over. And then we're going to actually play a clip of this when the boys jam on To Live Is To Die.
I know. I love this. I mean, this is one of those songs that, I mean, I think the whole thing's been played like twice ever.
Right.
So, but to give that nod to this song on Justice, especially the one that's like dedicated to Cliff.
Right.
You know, and having Jason doing the bass solo right before this song that's for Cliff, essentially. It's so cool.
Yeah, you're right. It's kind of heavy on a lot of levels.
Yeah, it does. I kind of like didn't get like choked up or anything, but I was thinking like when I was watching it last night, like, man, what a great moment for those dudes. I wonder, like, especially when like Hetfield comes out doing the first guitar part, then Kirk comes out doing the harmony,
and they all sit down.
Had to have been a cool moment for them.
I loved it,
especially for that song being so new at the time. I mean, that was only a year old at that point. You know.
Yeah. And that's that's my favorite instrumental. So. I wish they would maybe bring that back for the doodle section or something. It'd be so cool.
I would love to hear that.
All right, and then we got they go from that straight into the intro to Puppets. Puppets. When is Puppets not gonna kill?
I know.
Puppets is Master of Puppets the best song they've ever written? Like, not your favorite, but that's probably their best song, isn't it?
Creeping Death or that probably.
Or Prince Charming.
Prince.
Hey,
Sweet
Ma,
Amber's
look, it's
up
me.
there. No, you might be right. Master Puppets could be their best song, like objectively.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
James yells, "Wakes up, fucks!" I love that.
Wake up, fucks. Well, I mean, the intro to it comes out of nowhere because it's they finish it all quiet
because they're doing the
and
sleepy,
pretty.
dreamy, to live is to
then
die.
it's just like
Bam, bam, bam.
right into it, and the crowd explodes. And
It's a really smart, dynamic decision. Like,
oh yeah,
the flow of the show is like, I think, really expertly put together. The set list is great. I miss these earlier days when James would sing the choruses. I'm not a big fan of the big crowd shit.
I'm a fan of it when I'm there.
Yeah, which is almost never.
Most of the time, I've not been there.
Right.
In all the times Metallica's played a show, most of the time,
yeah,
I've not been there.
Virtually all of. I mean, pretty much all of them.
I can definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, tell you there's 3 times I've been there.
You're saying there's 3 out of like 1,200.
3 out of 12 million shows they've played on planet Earth.
I just, I don't want to hear the crowd sing it. I want to hear James sing it.
You know what song I do like it on? When they do it on the last chorus is Creeping Death.
But Jason sings that.
No, I'm not talking about this performance. Just in general, when James would do just the crowd singing, I like it on there.
I maintain my grumpiness about it. Always fun to see James take his solo. We've talked at length about James' solo playing, and
it's a little sloppy, but
a little sloppy, but he's feeling it, man. He's in it.
Oh yeah, he's in the tone zone, man.
He's in the tone zone.
You're welcome.
Oh my God! #tone zone.
Just a little shout out to my favorite Instagram account, Rigs of Dad.
Yeah, Rigs of Dad. That's so amazing.
It's so good.
James yells, "Fix me, fuck!" before the solo. I love all that.
Kirk nails the fast solo in this
Wonderful.
one. Yeah.
Wonderful playing from our hero, Kirk Hammett.
Oh, Kirk.
I always loved as a kid James throwing his guitar to his tech at the end. I've still never done that. You ever thrown a guitar to a tech? You have done that.
Yeah, once or twice. It's a little terrifying.
Yeah, I'm not throwing any guitar I give a fuck about. I'm not doing that.
Although Explorers might be a little easier to catch because there's so many points to grab, and
the country artist I play for, Rodney Atkins, I didn't know that he did a big guitar thing, and so I'm on stage right to him. He's center, obviously, and his tech is on my right, which I'm not a huge fan of because he does guitar changes a lot. So I feel like that guy's always touching me. I'm really sensitive to being touched.
Yeah.
So I just feel like that guy's always like touching my back and shit. Anyway, first night we play the second song, and he does this thing where he throws it like Jeff Emmett at the end of Pearl Jam Unplugged, that high, over my head, to his tech. And I almost had
an electric or acoustic?
An acoustic. A $10,000 McPherson acoustic.
Oh, jeez. Those are so ugly.
And I almost had a fucking heart attack, dude. I was like, no one told me that would be happening.
Right. That's the closest you've been to Hetfield's pyro accident. Like, no one told me it was that close.
Right. Basically,
I could have gotten a scratch on my forehead.
Yeah, on a scale of intensity, there's James being engulfed in flames and then me watching a guitar thrown over my head.
So yours is like a 0.3. Right. James is a 10.
On the flame scale.
You don't know that could. Hey, there could have been some serious friction and could have caught your head on fire. You don't know.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm still traumatized from it.
There's a 100% chance of that. There's a 20% chance that could have happened.
There's a 17,000% chance if that sentence is correct.
Yeah.
Okay, the song ends with some more kind of plotty bass stuff from Jason. They kind of built in a lot of like transitional
little doodles, if you will.
Yeah.
I don't like to call it these to me weren't so doodly.
They're like transitions.
When Kirk and Rob nowadays do like a little thing a little tip of the hat to a certain city of a band or whatever, that to me is a doodle.
Yeah.
These are cool. This is cool filler and lead stuff. I love it.
Fade to Black, Kirk back on that Les Paul Custom that I love. When he goes out of that first solo into the clean plankety plank stuff, his guitar is real out of tune.
Yeah.
And it's real weird that he must have been that out of tune for both shows.
It had to have been. I mean, if there was if there was no. Oh wait, no. He put the black Les Paul back on after Puppets.
Yeah.
So
But he does the whole intro and it's fine.
Yeah.
But when he starts doing the clean shit before the verse starts, it's like real wonky and out of tune.
Yeah, it's not great. Still an overall good performance, though. I mean, there's nothing on here that I'm like, eh.
Well, once again, dude, I never noticed that guitar was out of tune. Like, it's like this. I found myself asking, like, does anything matter? Because
Right.
I don't remember that ever being a problem.
Or have we heard these songs so many damn times that it's now to the point where we listen for things that aren't the song? Or I don't know.
Well, it's also because it's what we do for a living.
Yeah.
I think we're a little more honed in. But if the general crowd doesn't know or care, then does it fucking matter?
It doesn't matter.
They don't care about your new boutique distortion pedal.
Right.
They don't care if your amp's got tubes in it or not.
Yeah.
There's a big debate on the forums right now of should they go back to amps. It's like, I'm gonna always have an amp on stage, no matter how famous I get.
What?
But no one gives a shit.
When you're Metallica and you're playing in a sold out arena or stadium every other night, I guarantee if they had amps out there instead of Fractal or whatever, direct amps, you wouldn't notice.
You wouldn't
Because
notice.
if I'm sure people on the forums have discussed this, but basically what you do is you take an image of a specific amp setup. So if Hetfield's using this Mesa Boogie through this Soldano cabinet, for instance,
You have an image of
you
that.
can take an image of that and it will emulate it exactly on stage.
Way less shit to worry about breaking down. Easier
Yeah.
to travel with between North America and Europe, for example, with power
Right, yeah.
issues.
And even having the Mother Nature being a factor where there's days where it's super windy and that affects the sound. And
the biggest reason of all, no one gives a fuck.
no one cares. If you're a purist and you like tube amps, that's great. I've got like 5 tube amps. I love my tube amps. I don't have any Fractal or Kemper stuff.
Nor do I.
But if I was playing in a band like as big as Metallica or God, an eighth of that size, I would consider it.
My friends in Taylor Swift's band, they're all fractaled out.
Yeah.
The only thing making noise on the stage is the drums.
Yeah. For now.
For now.
Until
This time, it's personal.
it sleeps.
James likes to say the phrase "nutty friends."
Nutty friends or getting nutty with us.
Hey, we got a bunch of nutty friends out there.
Yeah, I think at one
Nutty.
point he says, we appreciate you guys coming down and getting nutty with us.
A lot of nutty.
Maybe like nutty bars. Remember those?
Oh yeah, I love them.
Delicious.
But it's kind of a bit of is that the sort of quiet, insular James Hetfield coming out?
I don't know.
Nutty?
Hey, you guys like to get wacky?
We got some like wackadoo friends out there.
Hey, my name's James Hetfield, and if you like to get wacky, this next song is called Seek and Destroy.
I wrote this one for my parents. Well, they were getting real nutty one night watching the Ed Sullivan Show.
I'm this many.
I'm this many, Dad. How many of you out there? I count this many.
How many out there are nutty and this many?
Another funny James thing on the next tune is the burping intro to.
Whoops, almost threw up.
Well, no, Jason's actually commentating on it because James is, I guess, trying to. Because this is where James has a beer and he's like, "I'm gonna have it's beer drinking summertime."
Yeah.
and he's burping in the mic and Jason's on the other mic going, "Oh, he's gonna burp. Oh, he's burping."
Yeah.
And then James goes in, he goes, "Oh, he almost threw up."
Yeah.
And James goes, "Almost threw up. So what?"
Well, and then Lars conveniently has like.
He has a sign that says burp.
Yeah.
Because I think he keeps it back there because I think they did that bit every night.
Yeah. And, unfortunately, James didn't have any good burps. It was just like.
No, the burp factory was shut down a little bit that time.
Yeah.
But it's a fun, interactive performance. A lot of jokes. James cutting a lot of jokes in the lyrics and stuff.
Right, yeah.
He's talking. Another nutty phrase he uses is waking the neighbors up.
Yeah.
The neighbors are asleep in Seattle, I suppose.
Yeah, they said if I was a neighbor, I'd be fucking pissed.
Yeah, right.
It was weird when he's talking about the neighbors, and then he
And then he's telling them to be.
because he's going, oh yeah, whatever, and then all of a sudden he goes, shit, and the crowd goes shit, and then he says, fuck, cunt, fag, your mama.
Yeah. How about fag being in there? That's a different time.
It's a different time for sure, very different, and shit, that was a very different time.
And your mama.
Yeah.
That whole bit is a little weird.
It is a little weird. Yo, mama.
Yo, mama.
I was just hoping that your mama joke would follow this.
Oh.
Your mama's so nutty.
Just try to wake the neighbors up by playing Seek and Destroy.
On a Snickers bar.
On a Snickers bar. All right. And then, dude, I mean, I love the idea of the sort of like pre-encore, the actual set itself, ending with Injustice for All.
Yeah.
Just the monolith title track.
Totally.
One of my favorite Metallica songs.
Oh, yeah.
Of all fucking time. During that intro, they're just showing like montage of the crowd. And I was just struck by like, in 1989, almost every Metallica fan was a sweaty, white, angry dude.
Yeah.
According to the demographic represented in that arena.
Exactly.
Like
angry white
is not a very
Seattleites.
diverse crowd.
Yeah. No, not very. Anytime there's like a sweeping shot of the crowd, you might see one or two girls. It's mostly white, sweaty, angry dudes.
Yeah, that I don't want to be around.
Yeah, they hate their dad, and they're going to take it out and go see Metallica.
Yeah. And just in Vertigo, you will be. The shortest straw pulled for you, Dad.
Dad, listen, if you don't let me go see my friends, the hammer of justice will crush you.
Dear Mother, dear Father, Earth.
What is this hell you put me through?
Fascination, revelation. He does say masturbation.
Son, you know why you're in trouble. I can't remember anything. I can't know if it's true or dream. You know what, Dad? Deep down I feel to scream.
Oh my God, dude, that is fucking hilarious.
Gosh, we could do a whole episode on Hetfield lyrics used as comebacks to your dad.
Billy, how'd you do on your math test? I can't remember anything. That is amazing.
This is borderline church giggle world here.
Jesus. What time is it?
Son, it's time to go to bed and turn your lights out. Black, it is the end.
Darkness imprisoning me. All I see, Dad. Absolute horror.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
I love this performance from Justice for All. I do notice at the beginning when Lars is doing the...
There's some bass shit going on.
And they also start slowing the tempo down a little bit. I think Lars like came in too hot and like started to slow down before it went to the... Dun, 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 dun.
Does it seem like he got a look from one of the dudes, or is he self-correcting tempo?
That, or he just subconsciously started slowing down because he started too fast. Because once that verse starts, I felt like they settled into a really good
what's really
tempo.
weird is that Jason's playing this kind of busy bass thing over the cocoon, cocoon, cocoon.
It might have been on the record. We don't know.
Plucking along. I don't like it.
I don't either.
I've started to really think about this dude because, you know, the Justice box set's coming out, right? And what if it doesn't sound good with bass?
If they end up releasing that?
Yeah. I mean,
it's going to be a scary thing. Now, I would hope that they would, if they were going to do one, let's say one of the vinyls in the box set is a bass up version.
Fleming came out and said that he, according to what he is working on, there's no talks of getting the tapes back out.
Yeah.
He said they're going to remaster it the way they did Puppets, but he was like, currently, he was like, I know that we have the tapes. He's like, but the tapes are so fucked up that you're going to have to just tape them all together. And
right.
He was like, but no one said anything to me about getting the tapes out.
Wow.
So
okay.
I don't know.
I mean, that's fine. Either way, I'm stoked for this box set. I might be more excited than Puppets.
Because there's just not a lot known about the making of that record. There's not
I just hope there's so much content that's in there that no one's ever seen. I mean, there was like that in the first three box sets, but this, like you said, this is the one where there's not a lot of documentation of that record.
From here on, they're over documented in a way.
Yes, oh yeah.
Actually, except for Load and Reload, to be honest with you, not a lot from that.
Yeah,
but Black Album, of course, Saint Anger. There's a whole fucking movie about it.
Right.
Death Magnetic, you can go watch a 3-hour making of that film.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
That record. Anyway, I love I have in my note, I have the reintro section when they go back down to the classical sounding guitar. Lady Justice coming down. As a kid, I was just like, was not expecting that. Obviously pre-cunning stunts and the rafter falls.
When the trusses comes down. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good though. It's just that chaos at the end is a great way to end the first part of the set.
And then when they walk off and the stage goes dark, you know they're going to come out and play more. But I just remember thinking like, dude, for that first 11 songs, for that first hour and a half is like, holy shit.
Oh yeah.
And this is all pre-Black Album.
Yes. Pre-Black Album.
These dudes,
I mean, they're selling out arenas before the Black Album came out. They would have been fine with that.
Yeah, I mean, they were selling out arenas on the Puppets.
Oh yeah.
After the Ozzy thing was a huge push for them.
Yeah.
Okay, so, and meanwhile, little do these fans know that there's like an hour left of music to be had.
I know. It's so much more.
So they come out, and I love the drama of this. So the lights go down for the encore, crowd's going crazy. They kind of milk that,
Yeah.
And then the first thing you hear is the war tape from One,
Right.
Because that'd be the one song if I was there of like, well, they didn't play. They're not going to play One.
Yeah.
Grammy nominated, their first music video.
Yeah.
They come out and you're like, holy shit, they're playing One.
Yeah, and the whole tape of the war sounds and like the pyro going off on stage is so fitting for the stage already being broken and stuff.
Yes,
it's so
it's great.
bitchin'. Isn't it funny to see the pyro they used in '89 compared to what we saw in Detroit?
Yes, they've
It's
come
just
a long
like
way.
little explosions on stage. It's still bitching.
Yeah.
But what we saw in Detroit was just like lasers and explosions, like crazy.
Well,
and-
truthfully, what we saw is one of the best live shows in production.
Yeah.
In terms of scale and size, those fucking screens. I mean, I've
Yeah.
never seen screens that big.
no,
I know U2 did a big screen thing last year.
right?
But,
Yeah. But I mean, and how technology and production has changed since the '80s compared to 2018. I mean, what you can do now was literally impossible. No one could even think about doing stuff like that back then.
Right. The Jason harmonies and the verses we've mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what amazes me watching this, especially in '89, is like those really clean, intricate turnaround guitars.
Yeah.
Heavily layered on the record. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 guitars
Right,
doing
yeah.
those. But it just amazes me that they always make that sound good with
Yeah.
just the two of them.
I know it really does sound good, and
They really fill that space well. I don't know how they do it.
it's interesting. Maybe Big Make It Front of House has some kind of delay going on the guitar, and then when it switches to clean, it carries it over a little bit. I don't know. It's always a good transition. Sounds
Yeah, they
good.
always do good with that. The outro is nearly flawless.
Yep.
I had this note because I thought this was an interesting place to camp out. The machine gun riff in this tune. What is it in my note here?
I think
Oh,
I meant to say most, not Moss.
Is that the most exciting moment in all of heavy metal? Right.
It's definitely up there for me.
It's up there with like the Sandman riff.
Yeah.
Go 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 go. In terms of it's iconic, everyone loves it and knows it.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it goes black. Those strobe lights on. Blah, 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 blah.
It's just heavy.
The
and
lyric
and
over it is
dark
perfect.
oh yeah. Yeah, it's scary. It's awesome. It's iconic at this point.
I
mean,
would wager that that's probably in the top 5 most exciting. That and like Iron Man or something. It'd
Right,
be
yeah.
that classic.
Exactly. It's like something like that one Disturbed song.
Well, what is that one? That one, the sickness. Oh God. Oh my God. All right.
I did that. Sorry.
And so then the 1-2 punch of One into fucking creeping
Oh my gosh.
death. Hello.
Yeah, James saying, "You want some fucking more creeping death?"
So good.
I mean, it's such a great performance of creeping death. I mean, it's fucking,
Performances like this one are what make that song my favorite
Yeah.
Metallica song.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I had the note that Jason was like possessed on the BGVs. Like,
Yeah.
they'll like zoom in on him and he's like rolling his eyes and
I
shit.
know when he'll have like his head cocked to the side, and you see like this shaved side of his head, and his eyes are rolled back, and he just
Sweat pouring off of him.
I mean, that dude is the definition of like getting lost in the music.
Yeah, and I have the note too that the show and this performance are part of the makeup of the collective ego of my. Okay, let me see what I was trying to get to here. When we would put this on, like we were sort of misfits in school. We always had friends and girlfriends. This isn't like a fucking Columbine story, but we always had levels of our social lives that we were trying to aspire to. That
Sure.
we were locked into. Whatever. When we would go home and play this, there was a collective ego in my friendship with my dudes. And I don't know, it's sort of encapsulated in this performance of Creeping
Yeah.
Death, where we were like, these are our dudes, these are our heroes, they're so strong, it was just inspiring.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
It totally does.
They were our
Absolutely.
band, no one could fuck with them.
Yeah.
Nothing was as good as this.
I mean,
Did you have similar feelings like that?
absolutely
With your buds?
Of course, yeah, absolutely. This is what brought friends together.
There's just
was
nothing
this-
better than that.
Yeah, and there's nothing like it.
Right.
I mean, Metallica was the most unique metal band of all time, in my opinion.
Like, all my friends loved Kiss and Pearl Jam and Pink Floyd. We loved great shit.
Sure.
Like Radiohead, we were real into the Bends and all that. But I just felt like nothing is as good as this.
Oh yeah.
And anyway.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, every part of the song, I think, especially the bridge. Are you kidding me? Like the crowd yelling "die." It's like
You get Jason doing the motherfucker part.
yeah. It's up there. It's one of the most flawless heavy metal songs ever.
Well, I actually have this note. Is this the greatest bridge in all of heavy metal? I mean,
It's like a war chant or something.
die by my hand, I creep across the land, killing firstborn man. That is so fucking awesome.
Yeah, keeping it biblical.
There we are, brother. Jason singing the last chorus, to me, is classic Metallica. I wrote, sorry, get over it. That is classic to me.
Yeah, he did that for a long time.
And I know that he didn't perform on that record. I know that Cliff co-wrote Creeping Death and all this. But to me, classic Metallica because of Seattle '89.
He kills it.
Yeah. I have the note slays whether they're opening with it in Mexico City, the one that they did for the Worldwide tour, or whether they're closing with it here in the encore.
It's always a good idea. I'm bummed when I don't see it in their set list.
And then we get the guitar solo, which I think is a total ripper.
This one's great. Yeah. In general, I don't like this kind of stuff at shows, but like this one, it's just the way it's mixed. It's Kirk's performance. He was really tight back then.
And what I like about him too is he seems kind of reluctant. He's like a reluctant guitar hero, and I wonder if they put these in because they're competing with like every band has their guy.
Right.
And it's almost like a team. He's your ace cleanup hitter. And he's got to have his moment where he goes and fucking shows what he can do.
Sure.
Kirk always seemed reluctant to me. Like I think he knew what his limitations were also, but I don't know. It's like his vibe on that always strikes me as interesting. Like he doesn't do the 20-minute tapping thing. He does a little bit of thing, and then they do Little Wing because Hendrix is one of his favorite guitar players.
And they're in Seattle.
Right.
Which is also kind of what he does now. That him and Rob will do a little nod to a city they're in, whatever, if it's the Clash or something.
Right.
I love this solo. I didn't get bored by it. I didn't feel like I needed to skip it. It was very interesting, very, very well thought out, and the Little Wing thing was awesome.
And I love all the chaotic shit at the end too, like Wendy Bar dives and.
Oh yeah.
Okay, then we get Battery, speed and power. The song Unstoppable, great performance, lots of confidence. The outro's insane.
There's nothing.
Bum 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 bum.
You can't say anything bad about the song. It's a Metallica classic, and it's a fucking barn burner.
What do you think about this Frayed Ends of Sanity little blip we get? That's pretty cool.
It's cool, yeah. I always would wish they would do the whole thing, but it is
weird to play like one verse and chorus.
Yeah,
I wonder if they just. Well, James actually says at the end of it, he says something like, "Well, you guys are kind of." I don't know if he says we're or you're kind of bored with that one, and they go on to Last
play it
Caress.
that much. I don't know. Maybe they were. I don't know, or maybe it was just a way to throw another Justice bit of a song in there. And it was maybe that was just a little transition, like a planned out thing. Like, let's play half of this, and then we'll be like, we're bored of this, and then go to Last
I'd rather
Caress.
hear Dyer's Eve.
Oh, gosh, yeah, of course.
We'll get Last Caress.
They should have played my version of Frayed Ends of Sanity.
Why didn't they have it yet?
I don't know.
You know why?
It's
Because
so
they're not
weird.
patrons of the shows in 1989.
They weren't. That's right, exactly.
Last Caress, flawless. My first time ever seeing it. I didn't know what Last Caress was.
I've said it before. Them covering Last Caress was how I got into the Misfits.
Right. I think it's how many people got into this.
Yeah.
I bought Earth AD on vinyl a few weeks ago with my country band. Obviously, I couldn't play the vinyl. We were in the runner's car, and they were all like, "What is that? What are you getting?" I was like, "Oh, this is Misfits," And I played them. I brought up on my phone. I played them Green Hell. And they were like, and these are smart cats. They're not like country people. They're like the drummer's a huge Kiss fan and metal guy. And anyway, they were like, "Oh, okay, interesting." And then I played Metallica's version of Green Hell, and they were like, "Oh, we get it. Okay,
Yeah, now we got it.
we get it."
Yeah, for sure. Am I Evil is,
it's fine.
Again,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. It's again, we've talked about it before. It's become a Metallica song.
And I just love that chorus lyric, the "Am I evil? I am man. Yes, I am."
Yeah.
I loved all the plays on that.
Yeah. I am man. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thankfully, it is a shorter version.
It's a long one, the original, with the whole bridge section. And
I
stuff.
like the short one.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
cool with that.
Yeah.
Whiplash. Let's hear a little bit of
Oh
Whiplash.
my gosh.
Very cool.
I mean,
I love that he starts out with just him singing the chorus a cappella.
yeah. And dude,
The crowd is thundrous.
We talked a couple times about how a lot of these songs are faster than the record versions on this. This one is like even just that
So fast.
It's so fast.
This is what comes to my mind when I think of a quintessential thrash song.
Yeah.
I think of Whiplash. If I had to play this for an alien that was like, what's this thrash metal thing from the early
Greetings,
80s?
Earthling.
Greetings.
What is thrash metal?
Yeah. I would play Whiplash.
Whiplash or Motor Breath, maybe.
Yeah.
Whiplash, yeah, it's probably the.
I would
It's
play-
called Whiplash. I mean,
It's amazing.
it's the kind of music that would actually give you a whiplash.
Well, and they say the word thrash in it.
Yep. Yep.
So there we go. Fucking case closed. This is the first time I ever saw them say "'cause you're Metallica" instead of "we're Metallica."
Yep.
The band says goodbye. They throw out sticks and picks. James takes his shirt off. I have jokingly wrote "finally." James says there must be one more you want to hear. What is it? And I'm like, Damage Inc.,
Dyer's Eve.
There are lots more. And he says, well, I already know what we're going to play, so whatever. And then they hit you with a
Fucking Bread Fan.
Bread Fan.
Yeah.
Which I wrote my first note is, holy shit, so much power.
Yeah. Well, again, it's one of those songs that, like, when Metallica plays it, it sounds like a Metallica song.
How about James nailing all those lyrics pre-teleprompter?
Pre-teleprompter.
Bread Fan,
And he must have made a deal with the Bread Fan devil to actually find out what the lyrics are.
Bread Fan Devil.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Bread Fan, sabba-dabba-doo, sabba-dabba-doo, yabba-dabba-doo.
He had to go meet the Bread Fan Devil at the crossroads. He
Yeah.
had to bring a whole bunch of bread as an offering.
Yeah, it was actually at the Sara Lee plant. Meet the Bread Fan devil at the Sara Lee pastry plant. As an offering of peace, he would get to know the lyrics to
He
Bread
brought a
Fan.
bunch of bakery rolls with him.
Yeah.
Kirk rips all the middle solos. I love it. James throws his guitar at his tech again. It is funny, the continuity issues at the end when they're like saying goodbye. Like in 1 second, Kirk's on stage right, like throwing his arms up. Immediately on the left, he's on stage left, handing out picks.
Well, he's a sorcerer too.
He's
he
a
can,
sorcerer.
He can probably orb from place to place.
Oh, James throwing beers in the crowd. Lars kind of playing the "I'm going to give you my sticks, no, I'm not" thing.
Yeah,
that's
teasing.
It's not one of my favorite things that he does. And of course, the boys in the show by getting robed up. Those
Robed up,
motherfuckers
dude.
love their robes.
They do. They love robes.
They love being robed.
I know a lot of guys do that. Now, when I saw Metallica in Australia for the first time, when they were walking off stage, it was in the round. I was kind of right by where they were all walking to backstage, and Lars was the only one in a robe.
They love robes, man.
They love robes, and you know what? Robes can be comfortable.
Berobed.
Well, I know a lot of times,
Color my butt berobed.
color my butt robed. People like to put a robe on right after a workout, a show like this, in fear of getting sick. You walk from off stage to over here, it's a lot colder or whatever, so your body temperature drops. I guess that maybe that's the reason why. Or hey, they're fucking Metallica, they have a lot of money. Give me a damn robe when I walk off stage.
Yeah, I want a fucking robe.
I'm gonna hire a robist.
I will say, when we stay in nicer hotels and there's a robe in the room,
Put it on.
I put it on.
Oh yeah, dude.
Do you ever do that?
Sometimes, yeah. If I'm in a nice hotel like in Europe or
I've
something,
never told anybody
I'll
that.
usually open the closet and I'll feel it. And I'm like, that feels kind of nice. Draw myself a little bath.
Oh, dude, I immediately hop in it. Like,
Yeah.
if someone came to, if like I forgot that we made plans to like go grab some coffee right after we check in.
Right.
Someone's like,
Knock.
I'm already in that fucking.
Yeah.
They're like, dude, we just got here.
And you're holding like a glass of brandy, cigar lid on next to the bath.
Well, we did it. We talked about Seattle.
Yeah, this is
That was
again.
fun.
This is part 1 of 3. We'll be doing Mexico
do San
City and
Diego.
San Diego.
Yeah.
San Diego.
I did want to. So we put it out there on Instagram and Twitter. We're going to read a few of these. Just what some of people's favorite moments were, and I'll read the. I'll read a few. You read a few. How about
Sounds
that?
good.
Danny Los Angeles on Instagram says the whole Seattle gig's amazing. Some highlights are the To Live Is to Die jam and James and Kirk trading solos at the end of one. At Singlish16 says Lars was at his peak as a drummer during this show and era. At Black and Sanity, Jason's vocals on Creeping Death and Harvester are my favorite moments. At Ivanhead, I love the Seattle sections. I still have my VHS box set from '98. You want to read these other 4?
Sure. At J Bombino 34 says the Seattle show is beyond legendary. I miss new sound of vocals, which we talked about.
Common theme.
At Steve O'Geets, this is my buddy Steve in Albuquerque.
Okay.
He hosts a morning radio show out there.
Okay.
Hey, Steve-O. He says Jason crushed his bass solo that led into To Live Is to Die and that led into Puppets. The Seattle show is the most memorable moment of their career to me.
Very cool.
Gene Froman. Kirk's Doodles were amazing. When I was younger, I used to watch the VHS tapes every night as I went to sleep.
Let's face it, you still do, Gene.
You still do
Come
that.
on.
Come on. You just have to, and there's DVDs now or digital, but Kirk Urbane says, the burp sign during Seek still cracks me up.
And over on Twitter, we got Real Vinyl Alex. He says one of his memorable times is every time Jason sings. Frankster says Harvester of Sorrow. Suddenly the music pauses. James takes a moment, spits, and starts with the most awesome growl ever. Favorite moment by far. Meerkat 1984. The Scary Guy stencil went on every school book I had.
Nice.
That's fun. Ken Hale says, I got this for Christmas in 93 when I was 13. Listened to Mexico City every night before bed for about a year. Heavy Metal Dano says, waited outside Tower Records in Philly till midnight to be one of the first
Very
purchases.
cool.
I love the Tower Records head nod. Our friend Nick Makoviak says, Seattle's pound for pound, one of the best captured performances. Thrash Maximus says, one of my favorite live records. Love when Newstead sings on Whiplash.
Yep.
And lastly, Kevin Van Dam says, when James says, creeping death on the Mexico City show, that was the track that made me a lifelong Metallica fan.
I mean, I think we're all in agreement here, me and Clint and you guys listening wherever you are, that you can't fuck with this release.
No, especially for their debut live statement.
And we've only talked about one of the shows so far.
Oh, we're gonna get in it.
We're gonna
we're gonna get in it.
Vámonos a Mexico y San Diego. That was Let's Go to Mexico and San Diego for you non-Espanol speaking
Thank you.
personas out there. Yeah, that was really fun to talk about. I mean, I again get excited about the Seattle show. I oftentimes just watch those performances just randomly on my phone on YouTube if I'm out and kind of just want something to watch that gets me stoked. This is a iconic Metallica performance that will, in my opinion, go down in history as one of the best metal shows ever.
Couldn't agree more. All right, we got a website. It's called metalupyourpodcast.com. You can buy T-shirts and koozies and stickers. You can find all the other podcasts we've been guests on. It's a really cool place. Go check it out. Come follow us on all the bullshit. Twitter and Instagram. We're going to be doing more kind of interactive stuff with that, I think, in the future.
Yeah, the contest thing was fun. We'll definitely do one of those again in the future.
Yeah. I think there's more stuff to promote, but let's just get out of here.
Yeah. You know what? You got some eggs to find. So does your daughter.
Yep.
And let's go enjoy our Easter Sunday.
We very much appreciate all of you for checking in. I hope your Monday and your week's going well. We'll see you on the flip-flop. Peace.
Adios.
If you were our advisor, what would you say? Then I would say, delete that.